We see mortgage fraud, we are going to report it. When we see mortgage fraud, we are going to prosecute it within the confines of our duties. And we are not going to be intimidated by a subject's criminal defense lawyer. We are not going to be intimidated by a politician or just because you have an Esquire behind your name. We are not going to be intimidated.
Or the big nasty sloppy heifer in jail, prison, slammer yard, turn the lights off. Why is this big hamburger heifer still out smiling and parading? I don't understand. Why is there no accountability? You know, and ran New York into the ground. Po New York. A disgrace in New York. You know, unbelievable. Why is this big heifer still out free? Oh boy, I tell you just can't make this up.
My question is for Tush James. Will you apologize to President Trump for wasting millions of dollars and the state of New York for a witch trial? And how does it feel to know that you will be in prison for mortgage fraud?
Want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Hey.
Why this beat so crazy?
We will make America proud again. And you try to kill our citizens. We will make America wealthy again. And yes, together, we will make America great again.
They say, Rick, sir, fix your face. Smile, sir. It's Tuesday. No, I ain't smiling. I'm not smiling. No, I'm not smiling. I'm ready for somebody to get arrested, thrown in jail, prison. That's what I'm waiting on the next breaking headline of somebody. I mean, it could be anybody. Hell, it could be my auntie. Just walk out with her hands, but somebody got to be walked out with their hands behind their back. Please don't walk out my auntie. My auntie did good. She might have lied on a couple applications and lied on something. You know, she might have lied a little bit. She might have stole a candy bar out the store, or put some of a pack of them Mentos, a pack of them breath mints in her purse, and she ain't paid for it. But don't come after my auntie. Don't do my auntie like that now. If you're watching this video, I love you, auntie. But y'all, we just can't make this up, man. They say, Rick, sir, please act your age. Please get into it, sir. Rick, come to find out, nobody will be held accountable. Nobody's being arrested, you know. Especially those ones in New York. I mean, the biggest ones that should be arrested in New York, California. I mean, we can go all over the place. You know, filthy politicians laughing and going to the bank. You know, and lied. You know, and then when they lie, they come after somebody else for the exact same crap they lied and committed fraud and did. But they coming after somebody else. Can't beat your political opponent fair and square. Then drug us through the mud, drug conservatives through the mud. Conspiracy theorists just keep winning. Drag them through the mud, you know, after they were right about damn near everything. Wasted people's time. You know, threw the taxpayers' money all out in the middle of the street and set it on fire. That's what they did. And we on here calling it out, man. We are seeing some people being arrested, some judges being arrested, and it's been good. But there's a list, another list. And this list has different levels to it, a different standard to it, a different smell on it. It's stank. It's filthy. And those are the ones I really want to see held accountable. You know, and y'all know what that list is. You know what that list is. You know, but the justice system in this country is a disgrace. A lot of systems, a lot of things set in place in this country is a disgrace. You know, and it was thank God we won, because it was only getting worse, especially with them Democrats. It was only getting worse. And I think a lot of things need to be rooted out and just completely abolished, terminated. I'm telling you, man. Some people need to be sent on the plane. Send them to El Salvador. Hell, send their ass to Ukraine, I think. I think that'll send them to Ukraine. Yeah, y'all send y'all paychecks down there and take your gun out and shoot your gun down there. You barely know how to shoot it. Can't aim. Don't know how to take the gun apart and put it back together. Y'all don't know nothing. Lowest IQs I've ever seen. You cocked it, you put it in the chamber and got your thumb stuck all in the thing and you done messed up your hand. Low IQ individuals. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm on a roll today. I got a haircut today. I done shaved off my beard. I think they say I look 16 now again. I'm 25. 25, man. I'm hanging in there with y'all, man. I'm hanging in there, family. I am. You know? But we got more on this complete fraud with the Big Tish James, Big Sloppy Hamburger Heifer. Let's get into it.
But before we do, y'all, about promoting AR65, talk your
Attorney General Letitia James over alleged mortgage fraud. The AG, Letitia James, has responded. We don't have the video, but here's the quote. "This investigation into me is nothing more than retribution. It's baseless. It has to do with the fact that on a power of attorney, I mistakenly indicated that I was a state of Virginia resident. And prior to that, I indicated to the mortgage broker that, in fact, in bold cap letters, that I am not a resident of Virginia and never will be. They just took the power of attorney and they're using that as a basis for enforcement of their investigation." Bill, do you know why she said she was a resident of Virginia on the power of attorney, if in fact she wasn't?
Well, I know that we are mortgage experts, and we only refer things that we think are mortgage fraud, and we stand 100% behind the letter. I'll let the letter speak for itself. I do know, and I have seen some reports from that subject, from that subject's criminal defense lawyer, saying certain things. I'll leave it to the DOJ to correct various things. But again, when we see mortgage fraud, we are going to report it. When we see mortgage fraud, we are going to prosecute it within the confines of our duties. And we are not going to be intimidated by a subject's criminal defense lawyer. We are not going to be intimidated by a politician or just because you have an Esquire behind your name. We are not going to be intimidated by people. If we see mortgage fraud, we're going to do something about it. And I think that you're going to see us be taking this on in a big way. Mortgage fraud is a big problem. These companies are safe and sound, but where we see it, we are going to do something about it. And that subject's case is no different.
So there you heard Mr. Pulte say that Letitia James claimed that this situation was a result of a mistake. So let's take a look at her explanation. We made a video about this saying that she confessed. She did confess to making the mistake. She just doesn't want that mistake to be classified as a criminal situation, or as a criminal violation, I should say. Whereas the government apparently is looking into it as just that. Let's take a look at, in her own words, her confessing to making this mistake.
This investigation into me is nothing more than retribution. It's baseless. It has to do with the fact that on a power of attorney, I mistakenly indicated that I was a state of Virginia, but prior to that, I had indicated to the mortgage broker that, in fact, in bold cap letters, that I am not a resident of Virginia and never will be.
So there you have it, y'all. That's a confession as to the mistake, she said, I did it. I just didn't mean to do it, right? So again, is this the type of crime that would require a mens rea? Now, for my legal people, mens rea.
To this day, we still don't know what President Trump did. That's what killed me. I'm sitting my ass right here trying to figure out, what did the president do? You know, and this big slouchy heifer, big sloppy, nasty, slouchy heifer walking around, you know, a complete witch hunt, man. Sham, kangaroos, banana peels all out in the middle of the street.
Rea means a guilty mind. It means what is in your mind when you are making the mistake. So there's no dispute as to the fact that she made this mistake. She said this publicly. I don't know why she would do that, frankly, but she did it. Okay, so she's already admitted to that part. But this is likely the type of crime that would not just require the mistake, the action, which is the signing of the paper, but also the mens rea. So for everybody who's learning the law, actus reus, that's the act, okay? Mens rea is the guilty mind. I'm almost sure that this type of crime would require a guilty mind, which means not only do you sign the paper with your hand, that's the act, but in your mind, are you trying to defraud? Are you doing something that you know or should know is wrong, right? So that's probably going to be the crux of this case. And of course, y'all, Donald Trump, he gave his opinion about it. Let's take a look at what Trump had to say.
Brian, thank you very much. I'd like to get your thoughts on Letitia James. Director Polte, according to him, Letitia James says that the alleged mortgage fraud was simply a mistake. I want to get your thoughts on that. She put down that her father was her husband in the word, and this is very similar to, I guess, the false accounts they have on here.
Well, I don't know what it is currently, but Letitia James, who's the Attorney General of New York State, it seemed, I'm not involved in that at all. I know it's being handled by various groups, I guess, but it's major fraud, mortgage documents, and fraudulent everything. I think she said the father was her husband, which she had to have a husband, so she chose her father, and she.
Hey, one thing I love about being involved in this whole movement, man, being involved in supporting this administration, man, and supporting this guy right here. You know, this is what I'm here for, man. You know, because he been calling this crap out, man. You know, and what they do, they hide, they run, they try to cover it up. The biggest scams, the biggest scandals. And then it all comes back to this man, and he's supposed to be the worst of them all. Forget everything else. Forget what everybody else is doing and how bad of a crook and criminal they are. This is your criminal. This is the big bad orange man. This is the dictator. Threat to democracy. You know. And now, months later, he has to sit in the Oval Office and answer questions like this from reporters. From people that has attacked him, came after him for the same exact crap. Hotter than fish grease. People married to their sister, their brother, their auntie, their uncle, niece. The lady in Congress, I mean, it's just a show. Brother loving and all kind of crap.
Put it down, and she's so she chose her father was her husband, which she had to have a husband, so she chose her father, and she put it down, and she's didn't she sign in Virginia, yet she said she lived in Virginia, yet she's the New York State Attorney General. She did that for tax reasons, so she could take advantage of taxes. And she had the wrong number of units. She had a much different number, which wouldn't have allowed her to qualify and scam the government. So I don't know. I think she's very bad for New York, but I really don't know too much about it, but I appreciate the question.
So on the side of the Trump administration, from the top guy down, it looks like they're not buying the whole mistake excuse. Even Polte said, hey, looks like mortgage fraud to me. Take a look.
Well, what are the ramifications of this now that you've referred this for criminality to the DOJ?
Well, I would refer that to the DOJ. Again, as I say, we spend our days, we are mortgage experts. We are not politicians. I view this as an economic job. Obviously, the president can fire me at any time. So I guess in that way. But look, I look at this as an independent agency. We found the mortgage fraud, whether it be that particular subject or other subjects, and we work actively with the DOJ and different law enforcement agencies, and we will continue to do so. We are not going to be intimidated by somebody. Nobody is above the law, and that includes famous people or lawyers or what have you.
And what is your response to her saying, look, this was a mistake. I mistakenly wrote that I was a resident of Virginia?
Well, again, I don't want to respond to the specific comments that she would make or that the subject's criminal defense lawyer would make. I would just say generally that we will leave a lot of that up to the DOJ. I will say, though, however, just as a general matter, that occupancy fraud is a real issue. People saying that they're going to live in one state and going to it and really not even living there and getting better interest rates, getting better down payment terms, as well as people saying that people are part of their families that they're not. I mean, I'm making these general comments because we see patterns of this. We see patterns and practice of fraud across the United States. And this stuff has to stop, Maria.
Yeah.
And I can tell you right now, the banks and the lenders, they're responding to this. They're now looking at their underwriting, and that's exactly the intended effect that we want any subject who we refer to for DOJ.
All right, we'll leave it there.
All right, so
Put this big heifer in jail. Put that big heifer in jail. When is she going to prison and jail? I want to see handcuffs, breaking news everywhere. And y'all get 4, 5 set of them handcuffs. Chain up.
So the hoaxes against President Trump are many. One of them was run out of New York. Letitia James is now in hot water herself. And you say that you're very proud of the speed at which the Trump administration is moving. Letitia James is obviously quite a big target. We call her Big Tish on this program, and it seems like she's in hot water quite bigly. What's your take on this, Mr. Mayor?
Well, my take on it is that they've created for some people an equivalency between what she did and what the administration is doing. What she did is in both she and Bragg, both cases, is create a crime that doesn't exist and produce false evidence to support it. I just remind you of the evaluation of Mar-a-Lago at $18 million. Every time I live in Palm Beach and I look at the 40, 50, 60, $80 million 4-bedroom homes. This thing is worth, you pick the price. It's one of these priceless places. If I said $500 million, you jump at it. If I said $1 billion, I might be closer to it. The guy absolutely lied. I mean, he should create a value. I've never heard of a fraud case where nobody lost money. The definition of fraud is, putting people at disadvantage, hurting them. She's charged with saying that you live in, Virginia or Maryland when you're the Attorney General in New York. That's a pretty big lie on a loan application. Maybe there's no explanation for that. Saying that a building is smaller than it actually is, actually you cheat people out of the amount of money they're going to loan or their security and collateral. They actually get cheated. And there's plenty more. These are things that anybody be prosecuted for. And I remember she was the one that constantly said, nobody is above the law. Well, if we were to ignore the fact that she put herself in a marriage with her father in order to save money, cheat people out of money, who could justify that? The only problem is, does it get tried in New York? And our New York jury is just as bad the other way. I mean, they'll convict anything that smells Trump. If she puts up, Trump is coming after me, are they going to have a hard time? Now, it is a federal case, right? I think it's a federal case. And you tend to get a better jury in a federal case because you're talking about a much bigger pool of people for a federal case. So we might get a fair trial there. But this has to be tried. I mean, it's ridiculous to fight the U.S. Attorney's Office. It's public. She's the Attorney General. She lied about her residence and her marital status in order to cheat people out of money. Pretty cut and dry.
You would predict prison time.
If she got convicted?
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. Sure. I mean, she maybe not if she were just a regular person. This is where having public office probably disadvantages you. But the fact that she had public office and she's really lying to the people of the state that she's a resident about her residency, and she's putting people in jail aggressively, and here she is involved in in fraud, yeah, it sounds like a prison, at least some form of prison to deter other public officials from doing the same thing. I think if she was just a regular citizen messing around with a loan application and it was a first offense, I'm not sure I'd put her in jail.
So, interesting times, good things to come.
Fascinating. I think it's the most interesting times in the, I'm 80 years old, soon to be 81. And it's the most interesting, and I've been through, my recollection begins with the Korean War. I was born as the Second World War ended, but I was interested, my family was very interested in politics. So from the time I was a child, my mother and father were discussing communism and the danger of communism. And one was a Republican, the other was a Democrat. But my father was a Democrat who now would be a bigger Republican than my mother. He was an anti-communist Democrat, aggressively anti-communist. And he switched somewhere along the way, I don't remember, but now he'd be sitting there saying, how could I have belonged to that party? I don't know what's wrong with him. There's something.
It's a lot of people saying that now. It's just people walking out. Goodbye. In droves. There's a new Trump supporter every single day.
Seriously wrong at the highest level of that party because they do too many things that are irrational, like wanting dangerous criminals back among us, people who commit crimes like rape and murder and abuse of children. They want to bring them back. And they can't seem to pick their issues against Trump. Trump could really destroy them by kind of making up issues and then just suckering them into being against it. I go back to the wall. For years, they were all in favor of the wall. On record, there's video of Schumer and Pelosi, wall. Trump says wall, and now he's a racist, a xenophobe. They even know the pictures are going to show up. They have so little regard for the public, or they figure they can alibi their way out of anything. I think it all comes down to owning the press, Benny. I think you feel like when people evaluate Republican political advisors, they say it's not fair. It's not fair. It's like having a basketball coach, and every time your team goes on the court, they only get 1 point for a basket, and the other team gets 2. Now you want to evaluate the two basketball coaches against each other. I'm running a campaign for a Republican. That's a major effort. I'm fighting off the New York Times and NBC and ABC. You're running it for a Democrat, and you can print anything you want. So that's got to change too. I think we're doing a good job with that. And when I say we, I mean you and me and Dan Bongino and everybody who does this. And you take a look at 2020 and 2024. The difference could be we had more of an independent media in 2024. There are people who tell me, who've done an analysis, that if we had the same percentage of independent media in 2024, it wouldn't have mattered that much that they were able to censor the Post and the hard drive, that it would have gotten out.
That's right.
Through the alternative media within 4 or 5 days. So we have some things that are very positive too.
It's true. I'm a glass half full kind of guy by nature, and silver linings, and we've always appreciated that optimism about you, Mr. Mayor.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you a lot. You're one of the key figures in this group that I hate to mention it because I'm going to miss somebody. Sometimes I put out a list of, this is the media now. It's this group of 50 people. You know, they're going to tell you the truth. The rest, listen to them in order to know what to contradict.
Oh boy. I'm just waiting for the call, y'all. I'm waiting for the breaking news. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for handcuffs. I want to see that. I know she got them big sloppy arms, and they get that flap. It's gonna have that rotating shoulder. It's all gonna have to come together. They might have to grab about 5-6 handcuffs. They might have to chain her up or something. I don't know. Like a wild dog or something. But You know, I just walk that big fella, walk that big greasy heifer out, and we keep winning. That's what, hey,